Hey guys, CDTVProductions here, and the C of course stands for consistency because I've got that on lock at the moment. And today, we are going to be looking at the 10 fastest Offset verses fresh off of his recent solo album, Father of Four. Last time in this series we covered Crypt. The video is up on his channel and will be linked below if you want to check that out. So I have a feeling we're going to be slowing it down just a little bit on this one. So with that being said, this is CDTVProductions, still getting harassed with memes on Twitter every single day. And let's take a look at Offset's 10 fastest verses.
On my mind, I'm dressing so nicely they can't even copy. You think I'm Egyptian, this gold on my body. My money, my mission, two bitches, they kissing. My diamonds is pissing, my swag is exquisite. Y'all said no preacher, but you nigga listen. Them blue and white diamond, they look like the piston.
Kicking off our list, we have a verse from the breakout song from Migos, Versace. Back when this dropped, it really seemed like they would be a one-hit wonder group, but years later, they're still here and topping the charts, so I have to respect that.
We not the same, my nigga, we fond of the off the bitch. You with your brain, yeah, we bout you like it's an auction, ain't it? Get it chop, 100 my total, like it's a cockalish. I made this your man that told the millions I had to get it. Want you to be begging, please, you ready to whack a nigga.
Following that up, we have this song, which really showed Offset had the potential to make hit songs outside of the group, as he's the only rapper on this track. Metro provided him with a beat perfect for Offset's style. The bounce the drums have to them laid a perfect framework for him to flow over, and it resulted in a 3x platinum hit single. Here we have the first track on this list from Offset's recent solo album, Father of Four. Before Gunna enters this track to tell us how he puts his balls in the hole like golf, that sounds painful, Offset smoothly surfs over the instrumental with his signature flow. And just like I said for Takeoff in his fastest verses video, I feel like sometimes Offset doesn't get credited for trying with his rhyme schemes more than a lot of people do in his subgenre of music. I'm not saying he's a spectacular lyricist, but the rhyme pattern here is nice.
I'm that same nigga that jumped in the VIP. Lot of nigga pussy cause they know that I'm a killer. Made a couple million, put the bricks up in the rental. We was in the band, no trapping cap, and I remember. I really beat a nigga, caught that pussy nigga stealing. Get hit with that stick and
Offset came through with a crazy solid verse on this track, and I even featured it in my best Offset verses video, and I think it's great partly because of the situation surrounding it. You see, this was the first verse Offset dropped after being in jail for 233 days, something he instantly addresses on this one. The purpose of this verse was essentially to tell us that Offset is back and motivated to win, and that's exactly the vibe he gave off with it.
when you in the streets, you know you gotta make a name. I stole a Mustang, drop top, no brain. Police hit a nigga cause they know I'm in the game. Taking pictures of a nigga like a groupie, like a fan. On my first lick, only got a little bit of change. Thinking like Obama, something gotta change.
It's no surprise at all that this one made it, as it's got fairly rapid verses from all three Migos members. Even Quavo, who's generally shown himself to be the slowest Migo, comes through with a little bit of quickness. I even remember being quite surprised hearing this song for the first time, because this was the first song I listened to where they really rapped like this. Also, something to note, Offset actually hits a higher top speed on this song than Takeoff does, as he peaks at 7 syllables per second compared to Offset's 7.4. This was one of the main songs that really grew on me from Father of Four. When I first heard it, I wasn't really drawn in by the relatively minimalistic production, but on repeated listens, it really reminds me of the nocturnal and creepy sound found on Without Warning, the collaboration project between Offset, 21 Savage, and Metro Boomin. For some reason, that association just makes me enjoy this track a lot more. And according to this list, it actually contains the fastest verse from Offset's solo album with this second verse right here.
I pull up in Rarers, I forge you my tire. I'm dumping the form, I'm Tropicana, this is New Atlanta, pulling up in Phantom. For you nigga that monkey, we got banana, throw a tip of tantrum when I'm on the channel. We finessing the counting up in Atlanta, put a box on your head like a bandana.
Here we have what is essentially an Atlanta anthem, with the only non-Atlanta related part being Murda Beats, who produced the track, as he's Canadian. Just like me, apparently. according to my comments. I'm definitely not from a country completely separate from Canada, with a completely different accent. Other than that, we have all three of the Migos, Rich Homie Quan, and Young Thug, who all work together really well, making for one of my all-time favorite Migos songs. The only thing I would change is having the track finish right after Offset's verse, but it continuing past that doesn't hurt the song too much. It makes sense that Offset kills it here as well, as it's from the No Label 2 project, where in my opinion Offset stole the spotlight with most of his appearances. And moving on from the top Migos song, here we have one of Offset's standout guest verses. Cardi is good enough on the track, and Yachty isn't that bad, but Offset really comes through and makes this one worth listening to repeatedly. If I'm being honest, most of the time I just skip forward to his verse because it's head and shoulders above everything else on the song. He still very much sticks to the almost formulaic Migos flow, come on, don't expect him to step outside of that boundary. But it has enough small variations thrown in with the ad-libs and extra words being added to transition to the next line that keep the verse entertaining and fresh. The fact that it ends so abruptly kinda leaves you wanting more, making the verse even more replayable than it already is. Now I do quite enjoy Offset's verse on here, as we don't commonly hear that type of loud and expressive delivery from him, but does anyone else feel like it's just a tad overproduced? Like, sure, it makes his entry to the song high energy, but all I'm saying is the constant beat drops were laid on a bit heavy. But like I said, I can always appreciate a switch in Offset's vocals. Also, I'm sure due to the song name, the M&Ms subreddit will somehow manage to make this one into an M&M diss, just like they did with this very innocent line from Offset's album. I mean, I like that subreddit, but I just had to bring it up here because, come on, he just means he's putting millions and millions, aka M&Ms, in a briefcase. Yeah. Chill. I haven't listened to any Young Thug projects prior to Slime Season 3, so I don't know if he has a lot of music like this, but honestly, I've never heard him over a beat as unsettling as this one. It's got these claustrophobic drums and tortured sirens during the hook, and it all feels really eerie. Then Offset comes through with a masturbation bar to start his verse. Meat-beating bars aside, his flow is deadly as ever, and it's just another one of those features that proves Offset is always solid when he's providing a verse for another artist's track. Even though for the most part he seems to follow a bit of a formula with his verses, I always look forward to tracks that have him listed as a feature.
It wasn't an issue. The nigga, I got $50,000 worth of tennis shoes. You gotta take a L if you want a fucking W. Started in a Super 8, I'm trapping at the W. Wanna combat fatality, I finish it. Niggas gonna hate on you, can you take the ridicule? Got $100,000 stats up in the too.
And yet again, we have another verse from the album that I'm gonna refer to as RNT here. I think this is like the 5th time it's came up in a Fastest Verses video focusing on the Migos. On this one, Offset starts off fairly relaxed and then builds up to that burst of speed, which results in his first verse on here over the 8 syllables per second mark, which isn't too bad for someone that most wouldn't consider to be a speed rapper by any means. To be honest, this one is pretty much a standard 2014 Migos song in almost every way, so I don't have much to say on this one. The Offset verse is cool. That's pretty much it. Chopper turn rapper, the rapper turn into a massacre. The beat a nigga, stop a nigga out, we not a cap. From the beginning, the bitches, there wasn't shit that ate the apple. I had a warrant with the set, the police tried to make a tackle. Green Bay with the green record, still it on my packer. Just because you rap about it, you are not a trapper. So I didn't expect this at all when I started making this video, but Offset actually has a 9 syllable per second verse, which, if you watch my Fastest Verses video on Takeoff, means that Offset has hit a higher peak speed than Takeoff has based on my current numbers. Takeoff's fastest verse coincidentally was also on this song, where he hit syllables per second. Now, it could be argued that Takeoff raps more clearly on his part, and overall he raps fast more often, but regardless, Offset still has a really nice verse on this track. One of the main reasons I enjoy it is because it puts a slightly different spin on that typical Migos flow, with it being more fast-paced and constant than it usually is. And so, there we have it. Bachelor by Migos contains the fastest Offset verse so far, and it's a 9 syllables per second one. Well guys, that's going to be it for the video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, I would appreciate you leaving a like on it. Now, let me know down in the comments below if there are any songs that you think I missed for this video. There might be some that I counted that just didn't make the list, but let me know if there's any that you think that I missed, because with the overabundance of Migos songs that exist and Offset features, there's bound to be at least one that I didn't catch. That's pretty much everything that I have to say for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one, and this is CDTV Productions, signing out.